Hello everybody and welcome to my second UEFA Nations League prediction, where today I will be giving my predictions for League B. Let's start right off with Group 1, which consists of Slovakia, Ukraine and the Czech Republic. What immediately strikes me about this group is that all three teams are more or less the same in quality. We have Slovakia, which finished as the worst second place throughout all the recent World Cup qualifiers, and for that reason just missed out on the World Cup qualifying playoffs. Meanwhile, Ukraine and the Czech Republic both finished in third place in their groups, so just barely missing out on that playoff spot as well. Ukraine finished third in the group behind Iceland and Croatia, while Czech Republic finished behind Germany and Northern Ireland. As I said before, this is always going to be a very difficult prediction to make because of how similar all three of the teams were. However, in the end I decided to go with Slovakia to win the group and to qualify for the Division 1 of next season's UEFA Nations League. I believe so because they have a true leader in their team, like Hamšík, who even though he is towards the end of his career, I think that he provides a very big contribution. While Ukraine and the Czech Republic are work more as a group, they don't really have a star player to lead them. And at the same time, I think that Slovakia has done the best, is on the best form throughout the recent couple of years. And out of the three teams, is the only one to have gone to the knockout stages of Euro 2016. And also leading up to this event in the friendlies played throughout May and June, Slovakia also did some very good performances. I have Ukraine finishing in second and just narrowly missing out on the top spot and fighting Slovakia till the end, because I think that they were in a pretty difficult group and quite unfortunate not to qualify at least for the qualification playoffs, finishing behind Croatia, which in the end managed to make it all the way to the World Cup final. And similarly to Slovakia, they got some very good results in the most recent friendlies. And even though we cannot just use the friendlies to show and predict how the teams will do, I think that they're a very good indication of where the teams are. And because of this, I think that Ukraine will finish above the Czech Republic, which in my opinion is the most likely to get relegated, because even though they had Germany in the group, I think that they had every opportunity to make it to at least the playoffs, and at the same time they didn't do such a great job in the friendlies, and towards the beginning of June I believe they even lost 4-0 to a team like Australia, and because of this I have them finishing in the last place and getting relegated to next season's Division 3. Now let's continue with Group 2, which in my opinion is the strongest group in terms of the level of the teams involved. Looking at this group, the two teams that jump out to me would have to be Russia and Sweden. Both of these teams made it all the way to last summer's World Cup quarterfinals. Russia, on its path to get there, left behind them on their group Egypt and Saudi Arabia, and knocked out a huge team like Spain in the round of 16, only to get eliminated on penalties by eventual runners-up Croatia, while Sweden finished top of their group, leaving behind teams such as Germany, Mexico and South Korea, defeating Switzerland in the round of 16, and only getting knocked out in the quarterfinals by England. The final team in this group is Turkey, which showed a very poor performance in the World Cup qualifiers, finishing fourth in a group which consisted of teams such as Iceland, Croatia and Ukraine. But they still have a very strong team full of very good players, and I think that they will cause a lot of damage in this group. In the end, I think that this will be a very tightly congested group, with all three teams finishing on a very similar amount of points. However, I think that in the end, Sweden will manage to come out on top of this group and gain promotion to League A. In comparison to Russia, I believe that they have a more solid group which works better as one, and they have established a stronger connection between youth and experience. Meanwhile, Russia, which is coming after a very impressive World Cup campaign last summer. I think they still have a lot of things to learn and improve on, and they have a very talented young squad which can achieve even more in the future. But I think that this tournament isn't exactly the time for them, and they will just barely finish behind Sweden in second place. And finally, I think that Turkey, which even though they will be relegated, I think that they will showcase some very good performances and cause a lot of harm to the two other teams. The participating teams in Group 3 are Austria, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Northern Ireland. The worst team on current form would have to be Austria. They made a big mess of their Euro 2016 campaign, finishing in the bottom of their group, and also finished 4th in what was probably the easiest European qualification group for the World Cup, where they ended in 4th place behind Serbia, Ireland, and Wales. Northern Ireland, on the other hand, finished in 2nd place in their qualification group, behind only Germany, and went down to the qualification playoffs, where they were unlucky to lose by only 1 goal over 2 legs to Switzerland. And finally, Bosnia finished in 3rd place in their World Cup qualification group, narrowly missing out on their playoff spot, finishing behind Belgium and Greece. If we were to only look at the individual qualities of the teams, then there is no doubt that Northern Ireland would have to be at the bottom of this group. However, thanks to their phenomenal rise over the past few years and their incredible performances at Euro 2016 and at the qualifiers of Russia 2018, I think that Northern Ireland deserves their place at the top of this group and promotion to to League A. Meanwhile, I think that Bosnia won't have a lot of troubles beating Austria for that 2nd place and will manage to easily avoid relegation, especially with star players in the team such as Miralem Pjanic or Edin Dzeko, just to mention a few. And finally, I can see Austria definitely getting relegated, as they have not really shown any signs of improvement, and I don't really see them having a chance of getting out of their horrible form as of yet. To wrap this video up, we'll be looking at a very interesting Group 4, which will consist of Wales, the Republic of Ireland, and Denmark. Ireland has the advantage of knowing both their opponents well, having played against both of them very recently. They're in the same World Cup qualification group as Wales, beating them on the final game and as a result advancing to the playoffs. It was in the playoffs where they played Denmark, and it was Denmark who won that two-legged fixture by a huge margin and as a result advanced to the World Cup. In the World Cup, they finished 2nd behind France in their group and eventually got knocked out in the round of 16 by Croatia after a penalty shootout. Wales, meanwhile, even though they failed to make the World Cup 2018, just 2 years ago they were the major surprise of Euro 2016, where they made it all the way to the semi-final round. My final prediction for this group is Denmark to finish 1st, Wales 2nd, and the Republic of Ireland in last place. I think that Denmark shouldn't really struggle in obtaining that promotion spot, because I think that they put a very excellent performance at last summer's World Cup, and I think they had every chance of defeating Croatia and going even farther in the World Cup. And meanwhile, even though Ireland managed to knock Wales out of contention for qualifying for the World Cup, I still think that Wales has a much stronger team and much stronger players individually as well, notably Gareth Bale, and I think that they will provide a strong challenge for Denmark, even though I don't think that they will overcome them, and at the same time will easily be able to avoid relegation. And so it will be Ireland, which in my opinion will land rock bottom of this group and get relegated down to next season's League C. So this is all for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. Also let me know in the comments below what your predictions are for UEFA Nations League B. And I'll see you guys on the next one.